Hey, what's up guys? Today we're gonna create our own RecyclerView extension library. First of all, if you're not familiar with RecyclerView, check this post. I'll link it under the video description. So RecyclerView is something like ListView, but it's better. So what I mean by saying we're gonna create an extension library. So integrating RecyclerView itself isn't something complicated. It's just implementing 3 classes. But it doesn't support many features out of the box, like pagination, displaying empty view when there is no data to display, like no view, like nothing found, something like that, This stuff you implement yourself. It's not hard to implement that, but it's really common, so which means that for each project you're gonna need that probably. If you have fetching some stuff from server, pagination is obvious feature, right? So what you can end up with is either copy pasting from your previous projects or writing from scratch, because it's kind of like easy, right? So it doesn't take too much time, and yeah, it actually takes some time. So I decided to look online on GitHub what libraries there are, and obviously there's gonna be like dozens of them because it's not super hard to implement pagination, right? Okay, RecyclerView library GitHub. Let's I don't wanna go through all the pages and read all the readmes. Let's just go through the first and from the end to top. This one doesn't say anything. Swipe layout, no. Awesome UI. Recycler. Well, it's like 6 libraries. So what I'm looking for is pagination, which is fetch more, could be called. This one doesn't have it. Okay, next one. Epoxy by Airbnb. This library looks cool. I mean, it deserves more likes. But really cool. They care about butter knife, data binding, and they support all the different stuff, but I didn't see any words about pagination, so not this one. RecyclerView helper, what does it have? Drag and drop divider, on click listener, that's it. No pagination again. Decoration. Android RecyclerView. Google samples, no, that's just vanilla RecyclerView. Advanced. Okay, what do I have in here? RecyclerView, blah blah blah. Header footers. Well, I don't see anything more. No. And the ultimate is the first item. It has 5,500 likes. So it's probably like you would go for the first one, right? And I thought so. So I cloned the repository. The whole launched the sample app. Just to see what they have. Let's just open main activity. Or I was actually going through adapter, I think, to understand how it worked, because documentation there sucks. So the first thing that got me concerned is class name starting lowercase. Like For real? And then I saw, like, I think the method name with underscore, like it's a Python or something. Like, you know, all those little things, bad documentation, and actually the architecture itself, like, so horrible. Like, I couldn't grasp the whole concept, like, such a mess. I mean, yeah, this is 0.7, so, you know. And the GIFs are really horrible, like, when you look at that, like, what a mess. Like, what you trying to show in here? Oh my god. You know, this is like, what is, like 2013 or something? So ugly. I don't know, so I didn't like the, even using, just looking at the sample, like a bunch of methods without any documentation, like some, yeah, the method names are horrible and really unclear, no documentation, so I really don't get it, like how they got so many likes. Well, there is many features in here, but you know, we want like simple stuff like pagination, empty view, basically those two features, right? You know, it's faster to implement the stuff yourself than look at this horrible library and try to understand how to implement this stuff with this library. So yeah, that's why I decided to write my own library, because I kinda like my own code more than somebody others, you know. And yeah, we're gonna deploy this library to jCenter. If you like it, you can use it. So once again, what do I want from this library? I want pagination, which is fetching items from server, like with small number, like you fetch 20, then 20 more. When you reach the bottom, like then 20 more, 20 more, 20 more, like, you know, fetching small stuff. So, and for this to be user friendly, you need a ProgressBar right at the bottom, which is like a footer. And then if no stuff fetched from server, you want to display an empty view saying no stuff found. And actually both of those libraries, Ultimate and Super RecyclerViews, they support that. So I tried Super RecyclerView sample app. Actually this library seems pretty solid. It has set up more listener, you know, the method names are really good. But one actually two things that I didn't like, and I wouldn't recommend this library first, is that empty view, hence no stuff found, is triggered when you don't set adapter, and not when the adapter item count is 0. So it's like, what the hell, right? I want my adapter, and going from adapter you display this empty view or not. And then the second one is that ProgressBar, which is when you load more, it's not actually like a footer which you have like in the most apps up there, right? It's like an overlay in view over the recycler view, which really sucks. So I didn't like that. And this one is the most popular library. As I said, it has all the stuff and lots of more. It's like huge. But the way it was written is just horrible, total mess, no documentation, and the method names are horrible. I didn't like it, so let's write our own stuff. Alright, so I have this library built, and I just want to show you how it works. It's pending on jCenter. It's gonna be available with this line, and there is GitHub repo. I'm gonna write README and all this stuff. So it's still in development and it's gonna improve a lot. Let me just show you how it works. So I think that RecyclerView itself, the API, is great. It's clear, it's clean, and you don't need to change much. I wanted it to have the smallest learning curve, you know, so that you don't need to learn the whole API, like how it works. I just wanted people to be able to use the skills that they have with integrating RecyclerView, just, you know, improve it. So I have a simple RecyclerView, my own view. It's empty for now. Nothing, no attributes in here. And you just implement two classes. Instead of RecyclerView adapter, you implement simple RecyclerView adapter, and the view holder is just like before, RecyclerView.viewHolder. And here, when you write extend, it has three methods that you need to implement. As you see, names are different from the RecyclerView.viewHolder, adapter. It's on create holder without any type, get count instead of get item count, and on bind holder instead of on bind view holder. And if you press Ctrl O, you won't find those methods get item count, on bind view holder with the type, and others. So you just implement it in the same way like before. Create view holder, get size, and bind view holder, right? And now it just displays let's see at our list item is just a text view which displays position just for now, you know. So as you see, the learning curve here is as small as possible. I didn't want people to learn all those new annotations, all the different architecture, you know, like now you're gonna write everything differently. So yeah, it looks just the same as RecyclerView. And let's just add some data to the list to see if it works. As you see, the same. You need to set a layout manager, you set adapter, with the one exception that this adapter takes my own adapter. It takes only simple RecyclerView.adapter, this implementation. So here it is just a list with the positions, nothing special, right? First extension, empty view. You declare an empty view attribute, empty layout, which takes a layout reference. So by default, empty layout is disabled. So for example, if you have 0 items in the list, it won't display any text view. But here I have a text view which says nothing found. Oops, I forgot to delete the items. Alright, so there is no items in the list, and we see our empty layout which I declared. So here it is, it's in here. Alright, just that simple, you just declare empty layout. And the second feature that I wanted is, for now, is pagination, so that you have a simple listener for fetch more and progress bar. Let's add some data. And again, pagination is disabled by default. To enable it, you just call the list. A list is a reference to simple RecyclerView with the vanilla Android framework. You would use find view by ID list and cast it to simple RecyclerView, or using Butterknife or Kotlin, whatever your library you prefer to find views. And here you just call set onload more listener. It takes runnable. I'll show you how it works with the just Java 7. Just runnable because you don't need any parameters, you know. With the Java 8 it's much better. So any task, you know. And let's just create some delay, like we actually fetching some stuff from server. Three seconds delay, and add some stuff to the list. Just ignore the URLs and the class in here, because we just display position in the list now, just to make it simple. After you fetch stuff from your server, yeah, so the list is array list. I probably should rename it to recycler in here. Alright, after you fetch the stuff from a server, you just called simple RecyclerView done fetching. So as you know, after data added, you need to call either notify data set changed, or for better optimization, notify data inserted, right? Of this method, you just need to call this method. That easy. You don't need to care about inserted indexes. Simple RecyclerView knows about all that stuff. The data before fetch and after fetch and indexes, you know, just simple method, right? Right, so now when we set onload more listener, and after fetching you set fetch done, let's see what we have. We have our default text. So those texts have let's just set the background so it's more clear what size they have. Alright, so as you see, each list item has green background. That's what items look like. It's just the center text. And when you fetch to the end, you have a progress bar. After 3 seconds you loaded some new stuff, and it displayed. And you scroll more to the bottom. Cool, right? Let's remove green background. And it's basically an endless list. With the default progress bar, you didn't have to set any layout for that. Progress bar is just enabled by default when you set onload more listener, right? Cool. And don't forget to call this method after fetch data. If you want to have your own custom progress layout, progress layout call, and just set any. That's how it works. Just let me just change the layout so that it doesn't look so ugly, looks more attractive and closer to the real life. I'm just gonna display some images. Alright, here you got some pictures. When you reach the bottom, default has 16 top and bottom margin, so if you want to have no margin, just use app progress layout. Yeah, and here it is. Pagination and empty view. Everything that's simple. I mean, I didn't see libraries like that. Probably there are some libraries that use kind of this approach, but it's nothing complicated. I just used the RecyclerView library, extended it, and here's my adapter, which extends RecyclerView adapter. This one is a bit tricky. It's generics with the... So I implement a footer type under the hood in here, so you don't care about item view type, whether it's progress or body. And really with this stuff, generics, you like pass your own type, but this class extends actually parent RecyclerView view holder. And the coolest part was the final keyword actually. So when you extend default RecyclerView adapter, right, you need to implement those three methods. And how would I copy that so that I extend the default RecyclerView adapter, so that I don't need to implement a whole bunch of code or copy the code to my library, and that you actually cannot use those methods, cannot override them, because if you override the those default three methods or 4 of them, you will mess up the whole thing, right? And since the methods are public, you just add the final keyword. I almost forgot there is really cool features in Java. So just edit final keyword for all the methods that I don't want users to override, and they're not visible anymore. Cool, right? On bind view holder, it's just handles whether it's a footer, or if it's a footer, then no actions from user required, otherwise it takes the user implementation. And that's it. I will document all the stuff in here, and I think it's the simplest way out there to have pagination and empty view. Empty view, it's you can always find this kind of implementation out there. And if you want to learn how to upload your library to jCenter, check my post. I'll link it. Video in description. It's really easy. Alright, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you liked the video, and click like if you liked it. Take care.